Good morning, everyone, or hello, I suppose I should say. Welcome to Meticulous Talks for September 16th. I am Chris of Chords.
I'm solving problems.
And I'm Hifrock.
And welcome back from our unplanned vacation 2 weeks ago. Yeah, there was. It's kind of a situation related to my living arrangements right now, but in any event, we're back and we're ready to talk about cards that some of you might not even have seen before.
Gen Con demo.
Indeed, yes. Back before my time with the game, I know, and back before yours as well, Hithrock. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Solving, were you familiar with these when they first came out, or?
No, but I do know of them. I don't really know the cards though.
Yeah. Things were a little different back then. I had a chance to review them over the course of the past couple of weeks, and yeah, it's weird to think, just kind of looking at these cards and seeing some of the directions that some of the colors were potentially going down, and some of the problems we might have had to think about banning. Problems or sort of problem cards. There are a few of them in that list that I just think, man, that would be so broken if it existed in the game today. But yeah, that's essentially what this stream's going to be about. Kind of like a pre-release, get our reviewing muscles back working. Which I suppose that is the other big thing to talk about. Just as the sort of side note off the start, is that we do know we have a name for set 10, and we have a month for it to be released in. Friends Forever coming in November.
Yeah, actually way sooner than I expected.
You thought so?
Yeah, I thought it will be later because we still haven't seen any spoilers, so I thought like, okay, it will take a while, and bam, it's in November.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that means we're probably going to have spoilers coming out, well, you'd certainly expect soon, based on sort of the rate that they came out for Sequestria. It was about a month and a half of every so often days, kind of picking up toward the end. So maybe by October or so we'll have something to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly, I always forget when Continentals are this year, because I don't know.
I think it's 25th October.
25th of October. So presumably Interplay planned that as well. So there will be a significant look probably at the new set at that tournament as well.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
But, well, as I said, it's big news, but there isn't really much in terms of detail to talk about. So I guess we'll get right to the meat of the stream, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're going to be seeing a bunch of cards very similar to what we do when we have an actual proper review stream. It's always going to be the beta Gen Con set on the left, and when there is a clear modern analog, I put it in on the right. When there isn't one, then card's just on its own. But yeah. And as I say, we've got 60 slides to get through, so we can move at a reasonably quick pace. But let's get to it.
Mm-hmm. Our first card is Rainbow Dash.
Yeah. And so the first thing to talk about with the mains, I think, is how we can all be very thankful that the official word was boosted and not 20% cooler, because that would have gotten old real fast.
Yeah. I think generally how the cards formatted is interesting to see. Like the box for the names got edges now. The symbol for power is much bigger and shoved into the corner further. And the bottom of the card doesn't have a weird scroll thing going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Also, means only having 2 power on flip side is
Yeah, that's a change.
And no home limit.
True as well. Yeah. Apparently, home limit was a sort of a new idea, or rather, wasn't yet part of the original conception of the game. Which would be a different game to play if we didn't have to worry about home limits, that's for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, Blue here still has the sort of emphasis on troublemakers a little bit, as we see. The modern Rainbow Dash we had to have a troublemaker at the problem. Old Rainbow Dash only cared about winning troublemaker face-offs, so that lends a little bit more directly towards either control or farming, basically.
Although there's one simple thing to know about probably how they changed the design of the card in a big direction by changing how it was worded and what you had to do, is that with the original version, it relied on your opponent to flip your main, whereas in the new one, it's all proactive about what you do. And I think that's the general direction they want to keep the mains in, because having to rely on your opponent to flip your main, unless it's something like Prissy, because of its nature of copying your opponent on purpose, isn't really a good place to stand, because it'll almost always be a bad main. Because if your opponent has the option to just not flip your main, chances are they won't.
As we've seen with the one main in existence that did that, yes.
We also have like Rarity. Opponent kinda controls when she flips.
The ambassador. Yes, that's correct.
So I find it interesting that like the arts are swapped for the boosted start side and start side.
That's another thing. It's not quite swapped art. You can see
I was about to say Rainbow has more teeth. And is looking up rather than forward/down. It's hard to tell.
But yeah, that's one of the things that, as we get down into the friends as well, we'll see a bit more of, is sort of the direction that the colors were going. In this beta set, some of them were rather far removed from where they are today. So that's honestly probably the most interesting part of it for me, is to see Blue, for example, having this clearly not quite this aggro slant to it right now.
Yeah.
And when we look at the next main as well, if you're okay with moving on.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one last thing.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
The boosted side have pretty much the same text, except the new one makes you pay for the friend, but it also has Swift, so that's interesting, I think.
Yeah. So it works out to fundamentally the same thing. It just
yeah, like if you don't want to move a friend, it's cheaper, but other than that, it's the same.
Yeah. And actually that's a good point as well to just to say for the future, because many of us in the current game have gotten, I think, used to reading wording very precisely. And it's true that in this beta set, the wording wasn't quite as well developed, and so
super wonky. I've clicked on some other sites. It is incredibly wonky wording in some places.
yeah.
I find it adorable though when you've got really wonky wording, and when you actually know how to play, you're like, oh, they're just trying to say this. They just don't know how to say that. You know, like take that game concept and just put it in words here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shall we move
Yeah.
on?
Sure.
Twilight.
So Twilight, as I was saying, purple in this beta set seemed to have this incredible fixation on face-offs, with Twilight straight up. She's got the same flip condition. You have to win a face-off to flip it over. She's got. Let me see here. Yeah, but the boosted text is totally different, right? She's got the ability to essentially set up for face-offs with that.
I think the thing that's interesting to me with the Twilight is that it's any deck, not just your own. And so it's like, yeah, it could be a Meticulous one, but it can also be whatever. White Star. That's it, Inspired. Gosh, I can barely remember some of the other stuff. And then it's strange that they then ended up giving that capability to someone else, but then also came back to it, back to the other half of it and gave it to Purple again.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely an interesting effect that like a card that can. It's kind of like Sweetie Belle most traditional right now, which can look at the top two cards of the either deck. But yeah, this works a little bit differently. It'd be nice to see something like that in the game actually.
And so that would be useful. Well, yeah. As I said, you can use it to set up for face-offs or to just as a general way you would use most traditional for it.
Well, in purple you could also like put things on top of the deck and put them to the bottom without starting a face-off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Alright, next card?
Sure.
Cloud Chaser.
Right. So again, this is where wording becomes a thing. When they talk about draws doing face-offs, that's what flips were. Yes.
It's adorable. Oh. Yeah, so 1-for-1 makes you flip an additional card. If there's a Troublemaker there.
And if Cloud Chaser is involved in the face-off,
if it's involved.
Yeah.
I mean, as a 1-for-1, that's a pretty strong effect.
Indeed, yeah. That's extra draws, especially in Troublemaker face-offs, are flips, but whatever.
It's also not got a requirement. It does have a requirement in these old sets, right? Yes.
Yes. Requirement does exist in these cards, but it is...
Because this would at least have to have, like, what, 4 or something in the modern game?
Probably. Extra flips do tend to be very heavily gated off. But this one is... we see... an emphasis on defeating troublemakers. There's no book on opponents' troublemakers. Granted, there are no villains in this beta set, but certainly that's one of the things actually that I think comes out a lot later on in these beta cards. That like with these cards, farming could have existed a lot earlier. With like there's actually a fair amount of extra flipping going on, a fair amount of emphasis on that kind of style of gameplay.
Well, I would say this card's not game breaking. It's just strong.
Yeah.
Well, without requirement, it's kind of game breaking. But if we gave it like 4 or whatever we said, it'd just be really strong. It'd be a good rare or super rare and set. You're like, yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Next card?
Sure.
Yep. Rainbow Dash. It's also interesting to see how the cards don't have titles.
Yeah, it's just Rainbow. Sorry, you can't print any other copy of Rainbow. We already have one called Rainbow Dash, and that's it.
Yeah, one imagines they saw the problem with that pretty quickly.
The main had the title though.
Because my gosh, it isn't half confusing trying to buy Pokemon cards. I want a Pikachu! Oh! Okay, let's find out which is the one I actually want.
But yeah, it's like the cards that are based on the main characters, the friend cards at least, do tend to be, at least in this beta set, the sort of expensive large-ish effects. And so this one here
that's Twilight's ability.
Similar, very similar to Twilight's ability. Twilight only lets you get events, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah. So it's better.
It's much better, yeah. That kind of ability, I think, is worth being a 4 for 3, for sure.
I think even in the current power level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cards.
You would run that. Obviously, it still works to do the same thing that Twilight does with Star Sword Research. Anything else you'd really prefer? Actually, it'd be okay if you had a handful of Troublemakers, I guess, and you just wanted to flip something huge and then still be able to play it later.
Mm-hmm.
So long as you had a way of getting it on top of your deck, of course.
Doctor Who's obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe I just want to keep the cards you flip. Like, in a farming deck, that's pretty good. If you flip a Troublemaker, you also get it.
Yeah, that is probably that's a pretty good one as well. Actually, yeah, farming would really love that, just to know that you're going to flip a huge huge card, and that you still have a big supply of Troublemakers to play.
Alright, next card.
Sure.
Skizaloo.
Right. And yeah, this is...
Oh my gosh.
Again, with the wording, that friend goes home. But, yeah.
Hey, it means you can't move it to a different problem and cause single face-off. Clearly the balancing there we're going for here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But yeah,
why does this have requirement and why is this card blue if you look at the modern game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a very purple ability. On both play and move. Like it's Magical and Spike rolled into one.
It's going to say it's also the new Twilight that has a condition on its enter play trigger as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because your opponent gets to choose one of their friends rather than you. Ooh.
There's something to that, yes. But yeah, this is I have it there next to Spike, or rather we do, but it's even much better, probably.
Maybe? Like with Spike you choose a character, and you can move it anywhere. Also Spike, well, I guess we shouldn't really look at Traveler here. But yeah, the fact that it doesn't have requirement though, it's just an entry card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's more powerful than Twilight for sure.
Mm-hmm. Like, do you think this card would go in like? It would probably go in like most blue decks today, I imagine.
Why not? What entry is better than it? Except for, I guess, having hasty because you're playing Luna.
Yeah.
If you're playing Luna.
But like, ironically enough, she goes like, how well does she work in like Screw main decks? So on the one hand, after the approach, she's great, but obviously moving her for free is amazing.
I don't know. The weird thing is that after a double face-off, everything gets sent home. So she's then useful the turn after. You keep her at home, I guess. I just think it seems pretty good for like purple blue troublemakers type decks, where you just have an additional way of sending things away and really annoying your opponent for longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, no moving, no send, it just goes home.
Yeah. I'm like, we imagine that translates to
Send.
That's probably a send. Yeah.
Because they've already got the word move on it, so why wouldn't they use the word move again?
Yeah. I think that would be a send if you translated it correctly, but wow.
Okay,
Anyway.
next card.
Next up, sure.
Star Hunter.
Yeah. Obviously, the art turned into Solar Wind later, but this is not the same card. This is a orange ability on a blue friend.
I guess the only card that's kind of done this is orange, yeah. But then again, like, it didn't even come into a colour until about, what? Odyssey's block?
Yeah, discard off the top. That's right, yeah. Like, orange had a bunch of random discard stuff. Not necessarily
Orange
random
still
discard,
had
like
discard from the
stuff.
top. In
Sorry?
Premiere. Orange still had discard from the top in Premiere.
Oh.
There's
Perhaps I should
Applejack
look at
that
that,
discards top 5 cards.
Of your own, though, not of your opponent.
I think it's any. Like, there's definitely an Applejack that discards top something cards from your opponent's deck in Premiere. I'm fairly sure of that.
Applebucker, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't remember the title. But I think that's the only one I can come up with from the top of my head.
Yeah, I remember that. Let me see if I can find it here. I don't know if that was actually in Premiere.
I was about to say, I think that was Cantalot. Yes. It is a 3 for 2 with 3 requirement. When it enters play, choose a player. That player puts the top 4 cards of their deck into discard.
Right.
Ooh.
Well, I remember that card being at least somewhat. Well, I look at it at least somewhat. Because that is 4 cards. Obviously, stuff like Portal and such and ways to get it multiple didn't exist back then. But
There was Minuet.
that's true, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about blue entry right now, not orange stuff.
We'll get to orange. It's really interesting to see how many cards with powerful effects are just entry. Like right now, most of the entry they have either a very conditional effects or not very strong effects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's perhaps even more interesting, given how in the actual Premier set there was just so much vanilla entry, like, and in general, cards tend to be overcosted for their abilities too. You had so many 2-for-1s and 3-for-2s, 4-for-3s, and etc. Whereas, as I say, back here it was very, very efficient in terms of what you would get for the cost.
So next card.
Yep.
Sure. That moves us into orange.
No. Nope. Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
that
so
looks pretty orange to me.
Yeah, very.
Oh.
Yeah, sort of a similar situation.
Very, very strong.
Again, yes. When you move to a problem, again, your opponent chooses and discards a card, but that is still a much easier trigger than much of what orange ended up getting.
So, if you have more action tokens than your opponent has cards in hand, you can play Call of the Dream Cavalry and make them discard their hand.
Yeah, that is true.
Just move it back and forth from both problems, and it's just like, there you go, you have no cards.
Yeah, and again, seeing as this is an entry friend, that would be pretty easy to do. Just in any blue
Deck full stop.
Yeah, blue deck full stop. You wonder if you even need to be running orange per se. Just throw this into a blue deck.
Yeah, it's like saying that you're not running mono blue because you splash aloe into the deck because it's good. No, you're still running mono blue.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is crazy. I guess the basic logic behind why this is quote unquote balanced is because it's like, well, you have to pay 2 to move it, and it's only 1 power, which is less efficient than moving most other things, and you can pay 1 to draw a card, so in the end it's not like you're going positive on action tokens. And it's like, yeah, but as the game expands, this becomes infinitely more exploitable.
With any...
Which is probably why it ended up not getting printed.
Yeah, I guess so. If you ever wanted to make movement into a thing, basically you had to not have this card around.
And we don't see that many cards that do something and they move, or someone else moves. And some of them are banned, like Rainbow Shine.
It's true. It's true.
Alright, next card.
Alright, sure.
Another Applejack. Oh,
yeah.
I think, yeah, it's another Applejack.
Another Applejack, yes. So, this is
the
one...
It's a card that actually got better.
Indeed, yes. It just... From old to new, we gained...
Stubborn and 2 extra cards to look at.
Yes. That is exactly correct. Still gets 1 resource up. Yeah.
To be fair, if this was flip 3 cards, take all resources, that would be oof.
Yeah, that'd be a little much. Especially given that orange seems to, again, we'll get to some of the other cards as we go through, seems to have kind of a resource focus in this set. That would have been interesting to see a color that was just like, oh, we're going to get all of our power from resources, or at least like play a whole pile of them. It's also somewhat flavorful, but yeah.
To be fair, like if you think about the early game, orange's removal was resources. It also had the capability to move for free using resources, I guess in tandem with Troublemakers. So
Yeah.
Orange's resource theme did kind of stick, but just not quite. I don't know for sure, but probably not quite in the way that they originally designed.
Perhaps, yeah. And yeah, it's true that even as we see with this card, this ability to kind of not quite tutor up, but look for your resources was still a thing.
Mm-hmm. Next card.
I think that long of a pause generally is our cue to move on.
Main phase. While it is at home, you may discard her to choose and discard a card from your opponent's hand.
Yeah. Discard from play, of course, meaning retire, I assume. Yeah.
Could also be dismiss.
Could be dismissed. That's a distinction that I don't believe exists in these early cards. Whenever stuff leaves play, it's just discarded from play.
Lovely. This seems okay. I don't think it's broken because we don't have anything that efficiently brings back smaller friends, do we?
Yeah. Now, one interesting question, of course, is: do you get to look at your opponent's hand? Because it's either a random discard or else it's a
No,
soprano.
it says you choose the card.
Yeah.
But if they're not revealing their hand, you can still choose a card, but then that
Hmm.
basically makes it a random discard.
I would say you look at it.
Yeah. Well, if you do look at it, then yeah, the card's kind of pretty good. Then you're basically like, well, yeah, you could easily play this turn one and turn it into a grubber, basically, if that were the case.
Which would be crazy, actually. But if it is just discard a card at random...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then it's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I still probably would play two of these turn one and retire them right away to hit my opponent's hand, even if it was random.
It's kind of like Yellow Pear Sprite.
Yeah, in that way, yeah.
Next card.
Guess so.
Another
Uh-oh.
entry.
This one gets some weird words on it. For a turn option resource.
Yeah, we'll get the turn option resources later. They're a special class of resources that didn't make it into the game.
What?
Yeah.
Does it change the turn order or something?
Basically, it gives you another like basic action that you can take, like
Ooh, that's cool.
Pay to draw, pay to move, pay to rally. It gives you another basic thing that you can do with your AT.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so yeah, this one is
The gyro of searching them.
Basically, yeah, just straight up resource tutoring, turn option resource tutoring, but still, yeah. And probably for the effect, a much better cost line. If I mean, I think Gyro would have been a lot more fair at 2 for 1, probably.
And if you had to retire him.
Yeah, good point as well.
But Gyro has a requirement, unlike this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel like most of these cards were like, yeah, if you had a requirement cost. It's probably like the best way to balance them. It's just, yeah, if you had a requirement cost.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another one that builds into this whole orange resource thing. And we'll get to more of them later.
Okay. To Granny Smith we go.
Sure.
It's good to see that one of my favorite little tech cards was the same at all times.
Yeah,
well,
this
actually, she
one-
technically got a minor upgrade.
she did get another trait. That's the only thing that changed.
No.
Oh?
May move from one of your friends to another. When you play this card, you may move a resource from one friend to another.
Ah.
So it gained a very important thing for Orange's future, where it's like, oh man, I early played Clip's Wings on a thing that doesn't matter anymore. Granny, ha, take that. Whereas obviously with this version of it, you wouldn't be able to move stuff you've put on your opponents.
Yeah, good point. Good point. That's one of those things where it's quite possible that, well, they probably imagined the idea of actually. Yeah, I was gonna say they might not have imagined you putting resources on your opponent's friends, but I think there is one in this set that like obviously goes on your opponent's friends. So yeah, but yeah, not much to say here really. It kind of is the same Granny we all know and love, except for that minor change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next
So
card.
next card.
Mm-hmm.
So surely Cherry must look at their hand then, and you choose it. Otherwise, Jackhammer is just a strict upgrade.
Oh, so you see, it says a random card. So
It actually says random, so I'm guessing with Cherry you are intended to look at their hand. Yeah, they just didn't say it. Because this guy actually uses the term random.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes Cherry Jubilee kind of ridiculous. But then again, so is this version of Jackhammer because you also get to keep the body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is monstrously kind of ridiculously important.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, it's only when you play him, so it's not like you can portal him for even more card discard.
Indeed. Although
Premier doesn't have enter play triggers because they didn't exist yet. I think they didn't start till Canterlot.
Yeah, that's true, I think.
Which is really weird.
But anyway, yeah, given that this card, the text stayed the same and it was only a
cost switch.
Admittedly, rather significant stat change, but yeah. This is one card where they clearly said, oh, this is okay if it has wreck. And
and is a 4/3 rather than a 1/1.
Indeed.
Because on the 4/3 one, you're kind of paying the one action token to -1 your opponent a card, because they can also pay one to get it back, so to speak, in terms of pure card advantage.
Mm-hmm. Interesting to see the name change.
Yeah, that was generally the case for a lot of them. I mean, we saw Star Hunter to Solar Wind and here, and there'll be a number more later on as well.
Okay, next card.
I'm sure. Takes us to pink, right? Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Seems pretty good.
Seems pretty good.
Yes, let's just play purple, send the problem thing home, and it's dead now.
Yeah, one cost, repeatable, remove anything from home. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Not complaining.
I guess the closest thing we have is the DJ that KOs exhausted stuff.
Pretty much, yeah. Breakdown, yeah.
There's also cheese sandwich which does the same, pretty much.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that one.
The same to breakdown. I mean, not this card.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a 1/1 with no requirement, it's ridiculous.
Kind of part of a theme of these 1-for-1 entries. But at least Pink was early on adopting its removal thing.
I think that's one of the cards we can't say that adding requirements will change much. Because it'd still be quite ridiculously powerful.
It'd still be good, but like the card certainly should have requirements. Like, I don't know, you put this at like a 4 rec and make it cost 3 or something, maybe it's okay.
I don't know. It's a repeatable removal without any cost, basically. I'm always skeptical about those ones. Oh well. Next card.
Okay. Speaking of names that got changed.
Why Felix initially?
I like how Bonbon appears on the art.
Yeah. They were like. I wonder at that actually, because like the pose of him is the same. Is this just?
It's the same art. It just didn't have Bonbon on it, and that's actually
Interesting.
the case from some cards. Like, if you for some cards you go and look up their actual screen cap in the show, you can see, like on some cards, some ponies are removed, so you can only see the pony of the card.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But this one
Is
well,
pretty much the same, except has some fun wording.
yeah.
Like reveal instead of uncover, which honestly, they're kind of the same.
Yeah,
I don't think the card game would be in a particularly different place in terms of wording if you swapped uncover with reveal early on.
But we have reveal cards, Troublemakers, like when you look at them face down. I think that's that.
Yeah, like it is in the rules document we have today. Uncover is very specifically defined with regard to troublemakers, whereas any other word doesn't mean what uncover means essentially. But yeah, in a world where reveal was the word, it'd still be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then his main phase ability is exactly the same.
Yeah, but this is one card where they decided to add the rec.
One rec. You have to be playing pink in some form, otherwise you can't have this card.
Yeah, which that's fair, honestly. Like that's something that
for something with 2 abilities and is still a 1-for-1. Seems fine to put at least 1 rec on it.
Yeah. And that's one of the larger issues with the friends we've seen already, that there was no affinity requirement. It was just like we said with Scootaloo, you just throw that into anything, or
Dance Fever.
Mm-hmm. Actually, holy crap, you're right. Because any old deck can run that. That's holy.
The meta would become Dance Fever. Please don't make it so he's at home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can get it. That's the game now.
Okay, next card.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pinkify. Now, this card I think is really, really interesting because this is, first of all, point acceleration. Those
my
cards
gosh,
should be.
is it a Yu-Gi-Oh card? It has once per turn written on it.
It's true.
That is something that I hardly ever see in any other card game other than Yu-Gi-Oh.
But yeah, this is an effect that we haven't seen anything like in the game.
There is one problem that's a little similar. No, Kratos, sorry. Kratos is a little similar.
Yeah,
that's kind of the closest we have.
But yeah, the restriction that it counts power, for example, counts up to 3 power worth of friends, have to be at home, retired than the score point in the main phase. That is like, clearly, if this was in the game, Pink would have had some period where it was doing something very different from what you'd expect.
Honestly, this would be pretty good in like pink yellow, where you're just like, swarm, swarm, swarm. Oh, by the way, while I'm swarming, I'm just going to get some extra points because this stuff's getting left at home.
Yeah, exactly. Like to have that turn where you dropped however many tokens, and then you DFO'd, and now there's like 10 tokens at home that are all going away to home limit anyway. I'll take 3 of those for a point, no problem.
Yeah, but it's main phase. Like you can do it.
Oh, it's yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but there's also a bunch of cards that let you not care about critters in home limit.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, it's worth noting that it's not 3 friends; it's 3 power worth of friends. So that could be just one friend with 3 power that you decide. Yeah, I'll just take a point for that one.
It's an interesting mechanic. Like we.
Also, I think the weirdest part, if she's at home, you can just discard herself.
Yeah. 480 for a point sounds a little bit underwhelming, though.
I mean, if you're on 14 and your opponent's locked you out, just play this to your home.
Okay, fair enough.
Take that. But I mean, like, it just adds to its utility as a card in the fact that it can just be on its own, just, I am a point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, at 1 pink rec is definitely light, but the AT cost is probably. I don't know if this card, like, certainly not the rec up like 3 or something, but with the cost and the ability, I'm not sure if this necessarily breaks the game. It just definitely pulls pink in a very different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, now most of the like cars like this are in white. Like point acceleration is white thing mostly.
Pretty much, yeah. Although it is worth noting that someone said to me a long time ago, all the colors do have at least one card that scores points now. Like, granted, Pink's is just Sea Poppy, but it is still a card that scores points.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, to my favorite color we go?
To purple? Sure.
Yeah. Inspired.
Inspired 2 when he enters.
Exactly.
Well, no, not quite, because you can't put them on the bottom. You just put them back
right.
in the
Yeah.
order. Also, that pun is terrible and they should feel bad.
Oh, of course.
It's Bill Nye the Science Horse.
Well, actually, I'm trying to remember. Let me just look it up, because they did end up using that art again.
Yeah, I think it was in Control at Nights.
It was in Crystal Games, I thought. Maybe it was. Okay, I haven't found it yet. Was it in AD actually? I know somewhere out there's a card that actually has that art.
Yeah, I
put it
also
here
remember
because-
having it.
You know, it's
I
from
didn't-
Premier. He's called Professornae.
Okay.
While it's a problem with a report resource, this card gets +1 power.
I remember
right,
it being
yeah.
from Control at Nights because it's in the Control at Nights theme deck. The blue-purple one.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Okay.
Although it's slightly different because he's got his mouth open.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, for a change of pace, I think this is a 1-for-1 no wreck that's probably okay.
It'd be nice if he could target both decks. Like the card we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
Twilight.
Yeah, purple just had so much top deck shenanigans. going
Because it
for it.
was all about winning face-offs, I guess.
Okay,
But-
next card.
Sure.
Hello, 1-for-1 Twilight.
Indeed. Again, more of this. We're looking at top cards.
So
This time.
is this better than Bill Nye? I think it is, right? Because it's repeatable,
Yeah.
and
it
you
can
can choose your own and your opponents, and you can bottom stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But it's not top 2 though, which is probably not a big difference, but still.
Yeah, you can't quite like actually set up a face-off per se. You can only get rid of one card that you don't like. But yeah, it's really just more along the theme that we already knew existed. So
Next card.
Gyro.
well, Gizmo, he
Gizmo.
was called back in the day, and he was
Gizmo. Oh,
a strange hybrid of gyro and f-stop, basically.
wow. If it had 3 requirement, I'd almost say it's balanced.
Yeah, any card, any color, and just recur an event whenever it wants.
That's
It's ridiculous
ridiculous.
in your deck.
But if it was actually stuck in purple and wasn't, and because it's not an f-stop where you don't get it repeatedly, I think it would be fine.
Yeah, actually.
Because f-stop basically has play Gizmo written on it. Exhaust this, play Gizmo.
Exactly, yeah. Same cost, same everything, yep.
You don't get 1 power.
1 power, but
Yeah.
that's not the reason you'd be playing Gizmo in most of the cases, I would guess. Yeah, so I think they could print a variation of this card quite easily. Just slap some requirement on it and it'll be fine.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, like this would... Yeah, because it's a recursion and not a tutor, that's probably right. You can throw this into set 10 or whatever. Again, put some requirement on it. Probably have the same stat line as Gyro did. And just...
And just go, here you go, it's not a tutor, but it'll help the control decks.
But what if someone finds a way to repeatedly return him into your hand and replay it over and over?
Then it's a lot more steps than it has with f-stop, where you just play f-stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, but for f-stop you can only do him once per turn, and here there's a combo potential.
Possibly. I feel like if a combo came out of that, like, even then, this card isn't the card that would get banned. It's whatever's allowing you to
Loop,
play stuff
because
forever.
as soon as you have a loop, rather than getting rid of the best thing to do in a loop, you get rid of the thing that causes loops.
Right, next card.
Sure.
Yep.
Sakura.
Ooh, wow. That Sakura is good.
Indeed,
I like
yeah.
it. I like it a lot.
This is kind of like a what's the card called? Scope things out? Except a little bit, yeah, a little bit less, and obviously not immediate. Yeah,
Also draws you a card. Which is
that's
the part that made it good.
Yeah, that's the thing
Otherwise,
that really
it's just
makes it
a
useful.
slight upgrade to Sunny Rays, which is not good.
Yeah, I have Sunny Rays over there more by means of comparison than by actually saying that this is what that card became, because it's not at all.
Well, the basis of the design has been used for her, but no.
Yeah.
I think we could get a Sakura. It just wouldn't have to have 1 purple requirement. It'd have to be at least, I don't know, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And then it'd be fine. I don't know how many people would play it, but I love the idea of looking at the top 3 to be like, I want this, and I want to flip this.
Yeah. It is probably worth pointing out that, like, a lot of these, and this thought only occurred to me now, but a lot of these requirements on these early cards are going to be depressed because the mains flip to 2 rather than to 3, right? So, like, 3 rec is a lot harder to hit in that set than it is in
It also
in the
doesn't
modern
help
game.
that like most of the entrance stuff we've been seeing without requirement are 1-for-1s.
Yeah.
That's also a thing to think about because getting requirement seems a lot harder in this than it does
I also
in
want to
that.
say
game proper.
that this Sakura is basically Selena Blue right now. Like, here you look at 3 cards, you put 2 on top and get 1, and with Selena Blue, you do pretty much that, except you can put any cards from your hand on top.
Yeah. And it's immediate. That's
And repeatable.
pretty.
And you can do it
Yeah.
multiple times, and she's 2 colors.
And she has eccentric.
Always forget about that. But yeah, this is the sort of thing that I kind of agree with you, Solving, that this could probably exist as well with some scaling.
So white cards.
Sure.
Looks pretty good against farm.
Indeed. Or for, I mean, just for a control deck for yourself. I mean, sure, you don't intend to be playing that many Troublemakers when you're playing control, but attaching a draw onto any of that is really good.
Basically makes playing Troublemakers free, like you're drawing a card instead.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess there's not much else to say here.
Yeah, I guess it's a relatively vanilla-ish kind of card, I suppose.
To be fair, there is a card similar to it in the original set.
Yeah, that.
It's still called Big Shot as well, but you get points, but you have to exhaust him.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh wait, no, not quite. When it's a Troublemaker is uncovered, you exhaust him and score a point.
Yeah.
I still think this card has potential. Every time I read it, I'm like, there must be a deck that could break this at some point and just get some points.
Well, there's no way to reduce the cost of Troublemakers. Oh, sorry, you're talking about the actual Big Shot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Every card that scores you points is always worth looking at. Always worth looking
Yeah,
at. In fact, we
score a
have.
point is an interesting phrase.
It is quite possibly the most interesting text that exists in the game. Score a point. By
Okay,
default.
next card.
Sure.
Well,
Interesting.
Yeah, white was going to get tank basically how many sets early? 4 sets early? Or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird to think that white got the draw discard instead of blue.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's not much to say, really.
Yeah, it's not a completely flavorful ability. It could really have gone to any color.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really have changed much. And the fact that this now exists on a friend that any old deck can play means that it's totally cool that it was on a 1-for-1, really.
mm-hmm.
So
So on the other, I mean, you could just draw a card for 1.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good point, honestly. Yeah.
But this
On
is an
a-
entry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next card.
Yeah. On the subject of point acceleration.
Hello, Rarity. It's the RTO everyone wished we would have had instead back in the day.
Honestly, yeah. If we had this instead of RTO, there would have been probably much less complaining.
This looks kind of like Night Glider.
As I say, this is non-conditional lower points Night Glider.
Yeah, kind of like a Night Glider light.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty good though. Especially with Canterlot Knight's infamous zero cost face-off events.
Oh boy, that's true, isn't it?
Let's pump my rarity. Fight. Did I win yet?
I mean, yeah, especially given that Fashion Week already scored you a point. When Fashion Week's worth 2 points, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think thanks to the showdowns, the infamous restricting design of face-off effects, this probably wouldn't be the best idea to print nowadays.
I mean, if it's the problem face-off, it'll be okay.
Yeah. The other interesting thing that actually just occurred to me is like, given the way that wording works, like I imagine if you kept this wording exactly the same in the modern game and you had like a staff on your rarity main, it probably would still work for an extra point.
Yeah. To be fair, that is definitely something I want to see them do. Just like, all your rarities get buffs. Why not? I think that'd be a fun bit of design to do.
It's done properly, yeah.
True.
Like teamwork, but selfish.
Right, yellow?
Sure. On the yellow?
It's got double caretaker. And it has no requirement. Seems alright, really. Oh wait, no, it's during face-offs only.
Oh, so it's competitive caretaker.
Excuse me.
That's a very weird ability for yellow to have, considering its design ethos has kind of gone in the direction of not winning face-offs, but good at solving problems.
Mm-hmm.
With marble, etc. So while not broken or anything, I think it would just feel wonky if it got printed in yellow nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't during face-offs, but like always to power when with Twitter, it'd be okay, I think. Like, if it was right now in the game.
Yeah, probably.
As in yellow entry card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's true that yellow certainly in the early sets had this huge kind of critter thing going on, and it's we can see pretty clearly where that came from over the rest of these cards that we're going to see too.
So next card?
Yep. Or critter.
Blue Jay. May face exhaust it and discard another critter you control to add an action token to your turn card. Is that gain an action token?
That's gain an AT.
Tasty. That is some good wording.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yes.
it seems pretty good with tokens around nowadays. And giving yellow random action token acceleration would be pretty nice.
Indeed.
Probably during this set. Probably during this set, it wasn't that amazing because it was like you'd always be at least retiring something that cost you one action token to get one action token, like later on. But in the game as it is, it seems pretty strong.
Yeah. Yellow certainly in these cards had this theme of like AT manipulation going on a lot. Obviously, Flutter Guy is the only card that really survived and didn't exactly carry the banner particularly well, or perhaps quite a bit too well. Anyway, but yeah, It's certainly weird to see yellow with the Gain AT cards after we've connected that to purple.
Yeah. Next card. Fluttershy.
That is good.
Yeah. Can we have Fluttershy, like, hang on a second, like 8 sets early or whatever? That would have made Return to Hand a lot more, like, competitively costed Return to Hand so long ago.
Wait, did we miss Fluttershy? Because I'm on Element of Kindness and the other Fluttershy.
Yeah, this is the one that when you play it,
Search
you
for
just get a credit to hand.
Oh, sorry. Perhaps I skipped a card. I think I skipped a card. Yeah, sorry.
Oops. But yeah, it seems pretty good. I'd say the best comparison here is probably Pinky, Every Pony's PFF, because it's just a conditional version of that. And I think if you take Every Pony's PFF as a base, you could put this at 3 or 2 requirement, and it should be okay.
I think we have a critter searching card. Oh, I think we have a card that, like, you choose a critter and you search for the same one in the deck or something.
Yeah. I actually looked when I was making this up, and there's not that much critter tutoring in the game. Like, Element of Kindness is the only one that's really unconditional.
Yeah, I think that would be a perfectly fine card, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
They just have to make it so that critters weren't combo enablers, because otherwise you have a strict tutor for your combo piece.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you already have
really.
PFF, so...
Yeah. Don't know how much harm it could actually do.
Right, next card.
Wow. Okay. That's a pretty nice effect you got there, House Mouse.
And it has a requirement.
Of 1. Yeah, it seems like a pretty strong effect, honestly. It's the event that we have now, except better, condition-wise. And you also get a body, swapping for the immediate nature of the event.
I mean, is it better condition-wise? Because you have to have a yellow something to play it.
No, I was talking about the event that's like Food
Oh.
Fight, but yellow
Oh,
and
yeah.
costs 2, I think. And like House Mouse is just like this complete ridiculous strict upgrade that you'd play instead, even though you lose immediate, because it's just so much better, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in this design, like in these decks, the idea is that you wouldn't be returning any entry friends to hand, because they're all basically 1-for-1s.
Yeah.
That's how they balance it.
Okay, next card.
Sure. Let's go.
Wow, it's kind
One
of the
that's
same card. They just hadn't.
impact.
It just doesn't. Caretaker didn't exist. Yeah.
It's actually
Pretty much,
interesting how her original text is more compliant to what kind of text we have now, like the wording. The new one has like things for free, which we don't have anymore, and other things. And the old one doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
Like none of the new cards have for free. They just say move.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that a lot of the cards that are the same just kept the flavor text. Like they've just had the same flavor text when they've had the same art and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next card.
Takes us out of the friends. On into events.
Flip an additional card for 0.
Oof. That's nice. And for only 1 purple requirement.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
That's why I say when purple is the face-off color, apparently.
Purple farm.
Well, this is only problem face-offs.
Oh,
But-
right.
Yeah. Definitely purple aggro.
Yeah, seems pretty good. The condition it has means you'd probably want to run something else, just so you can do it in any face-off. But hey, it's only 1 requirement. You could have literally 6 entry purple friends with okay abilities in your deck, and just be like, cool, I'm playing aggro.
Yep.
Or just have a purple main.
Yeah. Seems good.
Okay, next.
Sure.
Wow.
There
1
it
action
is,
token, return to hand.
in pink.
In pink.
In pink. Seems good.
So much better than yellow ever had it.
I think for
Yeah.
a good reason.
Yeah. I was going to say, if yellow ever had fall asleep, I would be concerned.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, next.
Alrighty. Now this is one of the cards. I tried to break this myself.
Holy
fair amount.
moly.
Draw a card, gain 3 action tokens.
Huh?
Can
Okay.
you recur this for less than less than 2 or less than how much? Either way, I'm sure this card is broken if it's in the game. I'm
Yes.
just sure of it.
It's very strong. I mean, I don't think there's much else to say about it, honestly. It's fairly ridiculous.
It's up for 3 though, like you can gain only 3 ET, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maxes out at 3, but like
Huh.
doesn't banish itself, doesn't exhaust anything. All you gotta do is recur this for
Yeah.
2
Also-
action
and
tokens each
also
time,
Joseph
and you
got-
draw your deck.
yeah. It literally has both pieces of combo built into it, so
How convenient. Okay, next card.
okay.
Oh, actually the same name. But a
Indeed, very
completely
different
different
effect,
effect.
So the flavor of it here, I think, is a bit better than it is in the actual card game. Because
Yeah.
here it's like, well, if everyone's at home, they're just going to go off and join the party and not care. Whereas drawing 3 cards, I don't know how that's getting a party started.
Well, you draw your
Yes,
friends
the
and start
idea
the
is that you
party.
get friends, but I mean, what if you hit 3 events? Or 3 resources. So let's get this party started, and now I have 3 houses.
Yeah. Yeah. The interesting thing is that like this game is this sort of card, if it existed, would really make people think twice about like DFOing into you as pink.
Yes.
Like, yeah. You start the DFO, and then on their turn, they just get rid of all your stuff.
Oh, it hits both sides.
Would it need to cost 4, like with Party of One, do you think?
That would probably, like, certainly for the effect it could possibly have, that'd probably be worth it, yeah.
Okay, next card.
Sure.
let's make this happen. You get swished for moving from one problem to another specifically.
And then your main character.
Or one of your friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That seems pretty bad.
A little bit less impressive, yes? Like, granted, if you threw this... If you just made this immediate, say, for example...
It could be at least interesting.
It could be at least interesting, yeah.
And like a little techie card that could do some small things. But as a main phase action, it's pretty close to pointless.
Yeah, it kinda is. Oh well, next card.
Mm-hmm. Next card.
Oh hey, it's the Spike event, but it costs 1, has 1 more requirement, and isn't orange still.
Yeah. Here's your purple. Yeah, here's your purple farming card.
I'm happy now.
Seems good, but seems undercosted for purple nowadays.
Yeah.
It's kind of it, really, I think.
It also has 2 rec. Most of the cards we've seen have only 1 rec.
Well, it is a pretty powerful ability.
At least they kind of understood that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next.
Next card.
Wow, this hardly changed.
Yeah, this is pretty much the same thing.
It's just 1 more requirement, 1 more power. There you go. Now it's the same card.
Yeah. Just
Seems
kind of
fine.
scale the rec to deal with the way power levels shifted, and the card is the card.
Yeah. Seems good. What went wrong? Face-off reaction. Opponent must redraw 1 card if they draw. Oh. Oh. They got rid of the fact that it was a cantrip? That makes it so much worse.
I know.
If it was a cantrip, you'd actually think about playing it, because it'd be like, yeah, you know what, no, have another card, no, I'm just going to draw. Then again, I guess the complication here is, if you're in a face-off and a card's flipped, what card do you draw? Back in the day, when they didn't have like the face-off flip area, it was still technically on the top of your deck or something weird like that.
Yeah,
like
that's
in the early rules. But now in the modern rules, isn't there a place that the card you flip stays in rather than on top of your deck?
Yeah, the flip zone.
So now it would make sense, and they could make it in this form instead. And I think it would be a nice little card. Wouldn't break the game or anything, but I think it would be nice.
Yep. Would see probably some work.
So, what does a redraw exactly mean? Where does the redrawn card goes?
I imagine it's like, I'm not sure. I actually don't know.
Like, so,
I guess it goes on the bottom, maybe?
Yeah, they probably just drop it on the bottom. Because like, if you read the sort of more modern version of it, they just ignore that card's power and flip a new card.
Yeah.
So you probably made them put the card that you made them redraw on the bottom, and then they flipped another one.
Something
would probably be what happens. Ooh, we're hitting our first resource on the next card.
Yep. Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's your first look at what turn option was.
So does the symbol mean it's a turn option card, or?
No, it just says turn option.
Wait, where does it say that?
Sorry, are you looking at the same card as me? Fancy it?
No, it's come and get me, you big goons, is first.
Oh, whoopsies. I skipped a card again. My apologies.
Stop doing that.
Okay. Come and get...
Yeah. So, you play it on a friend, and you get extra flips in face-offs with that friend in. I mean, I honestly kind of want to see something like this. I don't think it would be able to cost this little, but it's cool.
Yeah. Do we have any resource that we can play on a friend to give them additional flips?
I don't think so.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'd need to cost 2. But because obviously it's got the sort of being on a friend nature, the 2-for-1ing is real, so it can be costed less than maybe what, a resource that just sits at home would do it at.
Yeah.
So I think 2, cost 2, requirement 3 would probably just be fine.
I think 1 is fine, like with Barrel Through as an event costing 1. I think this resource costing 1 as well would be fine, since you play it on a friend.
I don't know. I don't like pushing things too far.
Yeah, like if I think about like rescue party,
brokenness,
it's granted that's just like a 6-power friend, and it's worth a lot more than just his extra flip, but that extra flip is still really good.
Yeah. Okay, let's play this on rescue party and flip even more cards.
Just get to the point where it's like when you initiate a face-off, flip whatever's left of your deck.
Well, we already had that.
Yeah, we kinda have that with Big Mac and Mod. Okay, next card.
Okay. Now you know what I was talking about, right?
Yep.
Okay. This is actually pretty cool. So you can now move 2 friends for 3 tokens. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Does that symbol mean it's specifically friends?
I believe
Yeah,
so.
That's a friend symbol, yeah.
Okay, it seems fine. I think it would be fine in the card game now. Maybe it needs a little more requirement so that you more have to be in blue to get something like this, but honestly, it doesn't seem broken.
Given that all the entry we saw is 1 power and mains are 2 power, free requirement is pretty high.
So like what in the general card game, this would be about the equivalent of 5.
4 or 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, and it makes sense that like a resource like this that really fundamentally changes the way you play the color. Well, not necessarily fundamentally changes, but definitely gives blue a different sort of flavor to the way that it plays its game. Should be at a high rec. Should be at a if you play blue, this is what you get to do.
But also another side argument is, why wouldn't you just play pirate ship?
Well, now, yeah.
In this day and age, yes.
Which is a shame, because I like this in concept. It's interesting.
Right, next card.
Mm-hmm.
Report.
Reports were a thing.
Yeah, they were actually a thing in the game. Report resources are the ones you just sort of play on problems.
Yeah.
Limit 1 report per problem. Is that actually a game ruling now? I don't think it is. Yeah. So your flipped cards get +2, and if you win a face-off there, you get an action token.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Notably, this isn't actually Studious, so it would stack with Studious.
At least that's something.
We have a similar card to that, which gives you AT when you win a face-off with a problem. I don't remember what it's called though. Like there's a report, maybe not report, but there's a resource that you can play on the problem, and if you win the problem face-off there, or just a face-off there, I think, you gain 1 AT.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, it's more purple face-off shenanigans, which is honestly seems kind of like a one-track color in this set.
Okay, next.
Oh hey, it's an incredibly broken form of Too Much Pie.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you told me that in testing there was a strict upgrade to Too Much Pie when I was playing the game initially, I would have slapped you in the face and said, how can you get it better than Too Much Pie? But yeah, actually just denying you any requirement at all times is pretty good. For 1 action token and a higher flip.
Yeah. To just straight up say, although it is interesting, and it's probably a reason why this card went away, is like how exactly this interacts with other things that modify power. Like, is this just set to 0 and nothing can change that, or what?
Yeah, it doesn't have the wording we always have now, which is and can't gain. Whenever you take away abilities temporarily or permanently, it's and can't gain and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, this is outside of that, if there actually was a resource that was worded properly and just did this, obviously you'd cost it more because that's straight up removal, but it's pretty orange flavored removal for what that's worth.
Oh, it doesn't remove the abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not straight up removal, I wouldn't say so, but yeah, like at cost of 2, I think that'll be alright.
Yeah. So next card?
Yep.
Sure.
Whenever you win a face-off, get an action token.
That's
pretty
nice.
straightforward.
Pretty simple. Yep. Do we have a friend that does something like this? With the +5 condition that Blue likes having? I feel like we might, but I don't know for sure off the top of my head.
I mean,
if not, I'm honestly surprised we don't.
Studios is that, basically?
Studios is similar, but the friend has to be involved. This is just when you win a face-off.
Yeah, but it's also a resource.
And if you get multiple copies of this.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I won this face-off, I'll get 3 tokens. Once again, with the showdowns. Oh, no.
Yep. Yeah, this is probably one that you could make it stupid expensive if you wanted to, but yeah. This and showdowns is a bad idea.
Next
up, yeah.
The orange turn option resource.
Yeah. Now, so this one turns all your resources into cantrips if you want. Which is, yeah, like I say, orange had the resource focus. This gives you the resource focus. That symbol is resource, of course. If you
wait, does this also make all your resources cost 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is crazy, especially as it costs 1 itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I mean, I guess there was nothing to break it in initial design, but obviously nowadays we have many things that it's just like, yeah, if I could get this for 1 and it replaced itself, I'd play 50 of it.
Wings.
Yeah, Magic Wings would be great. Let me see here. Like it's true. Like resources are. I don't know if there's any like strict game winning kind of stuff you can do with resources alone. But there's no actually. Well.
I wanted to say 2 bits, but then I realized 2 bits by itself costs 1.
Yeah. Like, if I look at, like, the Sweetie Belle decks we have today, for example, yeah. Like, being able to play, what is that, Fashion Disaster and like all of these control resources just straight up, and then you put some kind of recursion in your deck, and yeah. That might probably be the best way to go with something like this.
Yeah.
And I guess it's worth pointing out that, again, this concept didn't exist back then, but these turn option resources would probably all have to have been unique.
Probably.
Not make a whole lot of sense.
Then again, like, if you have multiples, I don't think it actually does anything.
Yeah, I guess not.
Like, once you hit the extra copies of it, if you're running more than 1, like, the extra copies are kind of useless unless they get rid of it. because, oh man, I can pay 1 action token to make it so I can do the exact same thing that I already do. So they might be unique for the sake of just what is.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't play another one anyway. So on to Troublemakers.
Troublemakers, which were very different in their original conception.
My gosh, I have one request now that I've seen like alpha form of Troublemakers. Why wasn't the power of Troublemakers in a little shield forever? Who needs the diamond? I want a shield.
Yeah.
Much cooler.
Well, one thing, of course, that this allows you to do is to have a Troublemaker with a strength that's different from its face-off flip, which...
Did they do that in this?
They did not do that in any of these cards. But you could have done it.
Oh.
It'd be very interesting, like, especially, like, if you look at current farming, it benefits a lot from the fact that Troublemakers have a lot of power. Thus, they have high flips.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to see
low
flip.
It's one of those. It's one of those where we can do this now because the keyword chaos exists.
Kinda, yeah.
So you can be like, well, I want this to flip for 1, but I want it to have 8 million power when you've got it in play. So you have the number in the top corner be 8 million, and then you have chaos. When this card is flipped, its power becomes 1.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, that's okay. That does make it a chaotic card, which, once upon a time, whether a card was chaotic or not really could have mattered. In those absolute discord chaotic things, but
I think they're kind of just ignoring the chaotic subtype now as just a sort of it's just a ruling type basically nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in general, these beta Troublemakers also shied away from having continuous effects as well. You notice that the
this
text
one has defeat reward, so when it's beaten the owner. Wait, so if you defeat it, do you do the reward? Or if it's defeated, does its owner do the reward?
I actually didn't think about that. That is very confusing, actually.
You defeated the Troublemaker. Here's your reward. You discard 4 cards.
Because I kind of like the idea of Troublemakers that have like one last hurrah to try and screw you over when you defeat them with the Troublemaker reward mechanic. Or like the idea that you could be like, yeah, we make it so that this 7-power Troublemaker has 0 points. But if they defeat it, the owner of it discards 2 cards.
Yeah, both ways work. Like the fact that they call it a reward seems to imply that the person who defeated it's getting this, and it's good for them. But then again, the principle, you always read cards from their controller's perspectives.
Yeah, it's... But this is also wonky testing phase, so...
Yeah.
You're probably reading it from the perspective of a commentator or something. Yeah. I mean, either way, just someone has to mill 4. It's fine. It's not game breaking. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. And if anything, it's kind of similar to its original form, so...
Yeah.
Not a villain Nightmare Moon. Ooh.
Not a villain, and not the continuous discard ability.
Yeah, I was going to say, reveal, drop your hand, draw 6. That seems pretty ridiculous.
Looks like surprise party.
I
don't
have a hand, I will play this Troublemaker face down. Alright, cool, I'm going to keep playing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just going to +6. Yeah. I still kind of think that this older version's a bit more balanced. Because that continuous discard is brutal.
Yeah, you draw only 3 cards, which is also way worse than drawing 6.
Yeah. Yeah. Notably, given that she's not... well, okay. Premier Nightmare Moon had the situation, that Epic hadn't properly been existent back then, and so you could argue that the same thing applied to this. So maybe this card actually was Epic, but if it wasn't, then like a 3-point Troublemaker with this kind of ability, I probably wouldn't play.
Maybe all Troublemakers were epic? Because this card is no different from Parasprite we saw before.
Yeah.
That would be interesting, actually. That would make the whole defeat reward thing make a little bit more sense.
Okay, next card.
Sure.
Defeat reward. Your opponent must choose and discard from play one of their friends at a problem.
Dismiss.
Dang. It's pretty good reward. As well as getting a point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it must be that all Troublemakers are epic, because unless it's like if defeat reward is whoever's owned it gets the effect, this is such a strict upgrade over Brown Parasprite, it's unreal. And if it's instead it applies to you, why would you ever play Purple's Parasprite? Because if they beat it, they're taking away your Troublemaker and a friend. But if all Troublemakers are epic, then the idea that you could run Brown Parasprite as a delay card that doesn't matter too much if your opponent beats it, and run Purple Parasprite as a I'm going to beat it card, so that you can then get the dismiss on, seems about right. That's why you'd have both of these cards existing in tandem while testing.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, if it is everything's epic, and if you're the first to beat it,
then you get the reward.
You get a reward. This is super interesting, and I kind of like the dynamic of they have the chance to face it first, technically, but obviously you can set up for it preemptively. It's an interesting idea.
Yeah, it certainly does change the kind of Troublemaker chess, as it were, that happens, right? When it's almost like, for sure, whenever a Troublemaker goes down, everyone has to think like, okay, how am I going to beat it? Or is that a villain and I should try to run away from it, or what? And that is kind of cool, yeah.
I like the idea that like if everything was epic, I feel like you could even take the points off all Troublemakers and just have this idea of rewards. And the idea is like, so decks that play Troublemakers are either designing their deck so that they can use it to delay and then sort of solve on one problem, or that they're purposely trying to get rewards off them, which I think is also kind of cool because it would encourage player interactivity in the form of making more face-offs happen and plays making it so that you want to change what you're doing quite quickly because of earning rewards, etc.
Mm-hmm. And that would also explain a lot of this face-off centric stuff that's happening.
Because you want to get your rewards.
all the other colors, yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty good defeat reward if you're able to get it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Next card?
Next card.
No, it's Purple Parasprite, but for resources.
Yeah, so this one is like, I can't remember which card from Premiere was like similar-ish.
Was it one of the Flim Flams? Maybe?
Yeah, I also think it was.
It was. I think it was Flim, because he was the one that was kind of useless. But yeah.
Flim exhausts resources.
Exhausts resources, yes. I remember.
It seems fine. Once again, it's as I said, it's just similar to Purple Parasprite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably like a little bit easier to target per se, because in general they're going to have less resources in play than friends. But pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Notably, this is, I think, like one of the only cards from the beta set where the art hasn't been reused.
What, the fruit bat?
Yeah.
I guess it's just not going to cause enough trouble for the card game to care anymore. Ooh. Sorry, I've just flicked a Timberwolf the one after this.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well, shall we?
Yeah. Troublemaker
Read
that
it.
searches for troublemakers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
this is
I kind of like
definitely-
the idea that this, because it's a 4 for 4, like red fruit bat or purple parasprite or the brown one. If you beat this, you can fairly confidently put down one of those and go, well, I can beat that, and thus get the reward again.
Yeah, and this is another like reward that really kind of synergizes nicely with the idea that like if your opponent beats it, if they're not running like a troublemaker focused deck, it's just like whatever,
Whatever.
a point for them. But this is like a reward that's really easy to be asymmetric that way, where I can just keep on cycling through my farming deck, and for you, it's just a point. But of course, they do want to beat it to stop you from doing that.
Next card.
Parasprite.
Ah, the ever infamous yellow one.
Much less
Annoying.
oppressive in this version. Not exactly the kind of card that just wins you the game on turn one sometimes.
I remember back in the day where 2 face down troublemakers turn 1, and you're like, if they're both yellow parasprite, I think I might just blow my brains out. Because it was just the worst. I am glad it's not very good anymore. But yeah, so instead of it always being a constant modifier, it's just when it gets beat. Discard 2 cards. It seems pretty strong still. Especially if you set it up to be defeated pretty quickly. It's just like boom, take 2 of your cards.
Yeah, and at random too. Still just as good of a chance to hit something useful.
Yep.
So
Problems.
So
Yeah,
of course
vertical.
problems looked a little different back in the day.
Vertical problems. Oh. That looks weird to me.
As it should. But yeah. Besides that, obviously nothing else really changed about the structure of the problems. Most of these have relatively benign effects like this one.
Whenever a player plays a troublemaker, that player draws a card. Yeah, it's fine.
We saw a friend with that.
Yeah. Well, the friend was whenever anybody played Troublemaker.
Yeah.
But
Specifically, I played one, I get a card.
Yeah. Like, there's a... Based on this idea that Troublemakers were all epic, I feel like there was going to be, like, so much more farming in the game if that was the case. Like, there's so much cycling cards for Troublemakers and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting to see that.
But if you then take that idea and put the whole, when you confront a problem for the first time, you get the bonus points, it makes sense why they had that ruling initially. Because you can earn points quickly by being the first to solve problems and being aggressive, or by dealing with your own troublemakers.
Yep.
And so it makes the dynamic of aggro versus people running troublemakers a bit more interesting, I guess, or valid, or whatever word you want to stick on it.
Yeah.
So it's like the wild problems we have now, which we didn't have until Equestrian Notices.
That's true as well. Yeah.
It didn't start off with not needing... It's just 2 orange and 2... Which is pretty good. I wonder why they went back on that.
Maybe they really wanted to force people to do multicolored decks, I guess. Perhaps monocolor was getting a little bit too prevalent in testing.
Something. But yeah, I mean, this is good nowadays because 4 for you to confront and bonus 2 seems pretty good for anyone trying to be aggressive.
Indeed. Yeah, I actually I haven't looked through the whole problem set with an eye towards how aggressive the bonus points were, but I imagine based on how things were in Premiere, they're probably pretty
really
high.
hefty.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, that's one of the things I kind of like about when you sort of look back at the old problems, because so often I'm like, oh, why am I running this? Oh yeah, because I need specifically not this color as well, which is just bad. Even though the bonus is like beautiful and lovely, and you just want it, it just doesn't work because of the condition of not this color. Anyway, now that we've had the general how problems were different discussion, next one?
Yep.
Alright, so 7 to 8, bonus 3. Each player gets an additional draw during face-offs at this problem.
Yeah.
Also, I'm noticing that all these problems just do things for everyone, like they did in Premiere whenever there's effects.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, makes sense. It's kind of how
Yeah.
they kept the design for a little while. I'll do that.
Yeah, so it gives Blue an incentive to run big stuff, basically, to get the bigger effect off of that.
Also, 7
is
and
there a
8.
starting?
7 and 8 look like a lot given the cards we saw.
That's true, honestly. Yeah, given the low power, like, yeah, this is almost equivalent to like a winter startup or something, given the scale that we're looking at. Which I guess makes the bonus 3 a little bit more sensical.
Mm-hmm.
So, next one?
Yep.
Sure.
Oh, hey, another blue one. Also, is there any starting problems in this?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh.
It's possible that the whole starting problem thing didn't exist. But yeah.
The player scoring the bonus here adds 2 action tokens to their turn card. Isn't there a purple problem that does something kind of similar to this in Premiere?
Yeah, I think there was a problem. If you first confront it, you gain some AT.
Yeah, that might actually be true.
Whereas this, I guess, it's whenever you're scoring the bonus, so it would also be if you won a face-off and took its 3 points, because of course you're going to take its 3 points.
Yeah, honestly, it's an aggro problem. If I ever saw one, like, you'd love the chance to gain 4 AT off of it, or
Gross. Back in the day, it's just like, yeah, I'll just do the double face-off, gain 4 action tokens, so next turn I have like 20 tokens.
4
and
action tokens, 3 points. That seems good.
Next turn I just have 9 action tokens. Let's see if I can win the game. But yeah, I kind of understand the whole adds 2 action tokens to their turn card. It's a fairly obvious parallel to the idea of adding mana to your mana pool. The wording that's used frequently in Magic, although they got rid of that recently. It's now just add X when it refers to adding mana. But yeah, it seems very similar to just adding blah to your mana pool, except they add action tokens to the turn card.
Talking about physical things as opposed to
rather than
game concepts. Yeah,
abstract game concepts. Which, I mean, in general makes sense to do it that way, because if it's marketed towards a younger audience, the idea that you go, I'll put these 2 action tokens on this piece of card I have, so I know how many action tokens I have. Doing something physical is probably a lot more logical for a younger audience.
Definitely, yeah.
So, next one?
Problems were revealed back then.
Yeah. What's interesting to me, actually, as we're going through, like, if, again, going back to this whole Troublemaker thing, if purple is the, like, face-offs and Troublemakers kind of style, then it makes sense that blue, say, being the aggro confront style, blue gets the high bonuses, purple gets the low bonuses, right? That would seem to make sense. And we saw blue having these huge
3
pile
and
of
3.
yeah, and like high confront requirement problems, whereas purple, meanwhile, here we are with a
3 confront. Bonus 1.
very low. And I wonder if that's purple kind of getting penalized a little bit. It's like, okay, well, you're just going to be dealing with troublemakers, so you have to take an easy to confront problem for that. Maybe not.
Also, that reveal effect is pretty nasty. Everyone discards.
Yep.
Not really much else to say on it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Oh yeah.
So I did manage to find a card that had the same text on it. Totally
Wow,
different.
it went from being mono blue to being specifically blue-white. Although it did gain bonus from 1 to 3, so you know.
Yeah, and the requirements much higher.
Yeah. Also, it's interesting to see because on all the other problems before the 2 ones that had 3 at their base, the other side was 1 higher, whereas the 2 ones that have 3 at on the front and they have it on the back as well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how, because like these are like 3 and 3. These are really low requirement problems. Like that's outside of seeking high and low, there are no problems in the game that are lower than that. So it'd be interesting to see what like throwing a bunch of really low requirement problems into a game like this would do to how the game plays out.
Aggro.
But then we also need to sit from the perspective that obviously there isn't any particularly massive friends. And mains, and it's not like you can confront this with just your main when they're flipped.
It's true.
Next one.
Okay.
Oh, hey, it's like Trouble with Trixie, or whatever that one is called, in purple, where you just get an action token. Except both people get it.
Yep, that's the one.
Yep, pretty basic, pretty elementary.
Orange? Question mark. Is this the only?
Yeah.
Is this the only time we've seen orange gain tokens?
Well, action tokens.
Yeah, in the whole set. I think this is the only time orange has gained action tokens in this set.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seems kind of weird and out of nowhere, but they.
Next one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh hey.
Oh, one-sided effect.
Yes, and
that was in Premiere as well as a much bigger problem. But I think it was still called May the Best Pet Win. It was just a bonus 3, and it had like 4 yellow, 3 not yellow, or something.
Yeah, perhaps I should have. I think by this point it was like 10 o'clock at night, and I was tired of switching for cards, so I didn't.
But yeah, I think this did get close to a direct transfer, and it was good, and it was probably good when they were testing it. So yeah.
No surprises, I guess.
Here's a nice purple problem.
All right, next up, yeah.
Oh, it's like Desperate Times, except each player.
Yeah.
Oh yes. The new problem. I would give that, and it's doing all face-offs as well.
Yes.
Yeah. We do have monitor everything though, but it does something else.
It does something quite different, I think. Yeah.
But interestingly enough, the actual our monitor everything has exactly the same requirements. Well, except for the whole not purple thing.
It seems fine because it's universal, and obviously, if you're running this, chances are you're running a deck where you want to get off chaos effects.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, whatevs. It's kind of close to vanilla, except for obviously slight deck ratio variance, meaning that you could get an advantage off it, etc.
Yeah, and if purple is the deck full of troublemakers, then and events and whatever, then yeah, they could do it.
Yep. Next.
Yeah. So here I just kind of grouped together 3 very vanilla-ish problems that didn't really do much as far as I was concerned.
It literally just adds to the hungry caterpillars.
Mm-hmm.
Because no means no is yellow caterpillars, and the same, but yellow and orange.
Yeah.
Weird. Yellow-orange was the best color pairing from the beginning of the game, guys. See? They're so similar. Yeah, I wouldn't say there's much to say. Really.
Okay.
Next.
Now, orange.
Now that's actually a cool
That's
idea.
an interesting one, yes.
Is that plus 2 points?
No, so I'm guessing it's when you flip Troublemakers in a face-off, you add 2 power to what they flip
Oh.
as anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, haha, I flip, I don't know, Discord, who has 7 power, and it's like, well, he's 9. Ha. And yeah, that seems pretty cool. I thought it would be in purple or blue, though, not orange.
Yeah, based on the way this set's been going, but
But here we go, the eternal, why are these colours getting these things on their problems? I guess it's just a theme.
It makes sense for orange now, though.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
now,
yeah.
but I mean, like, in the bubble of this set, it doesn't really make sense in orange, from what we've seen.
Yeah.
yeah, if you just transplanted this card into the current game, in the heyday of farming, orange would have been second.
Alright, next.
Okay. Yeah, this is the more traditional what you'd expect from purple in the
Oh.
bubble.
Go grab it! It's, what is it, sneak attack or whatever?
Yeah,
that event
it's
nowadays.
back.
On a problem. Oh hey, it also says its owner. Oof. That's unique for this set anyway.
We saw
Yeah.
one more of that before, like the one that searches
Yeah.
critters.
Yeah, it would probably be just very good if it existed in the card game proper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Actually, like, one thing I just noticed, not related to the card, but no, I'm being dumb. Sorry. I was
What?
I was looking at the compass rose up in the top corner, and for some reason it didn't look like it was lining up to me. But I'm just stupid.
Okay.
No,
It's because of the shades?
I think so, yeah.
Anyways, next card.
Yeah, next card.
The quest for the hospital town. The player scoring the bonus here may draw a card. Yeah, it's fine.
That's kind of blue again. This idea of, yeah, blue is the aggro color. At least that didn't change.
Mm-hmm. Tough love, or what it's called, is... Or maybe it's something, like, we have a pink problem that draws your cards on confronting.
Yes.
Kinda similar.
Similar, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah. Next?
Next, yes.
Oh, hey, this just exists. It's literally called This Way Little Ones as well.
Oh geez. I guess I was
Yeah.
well, gee. Just imagine Griffinstone's not there then.
Bye to Griffinstone. Yeah, like, I don't think there's anything to say on that because we literally had it for years, and back in the heyday of yellow critters, you'd move a 3-power critter there that's yellow and go, hey,
Yeah.
and there you go.
This problem is exactly the same, like even the stats.
Yeah, so I said.
The only thing that is different is flavor text, interestingly enough.
Well,
okay, our last card.
Last one.
Yeah, last one's probably one of the more interesting ones. Like, you want to say farming problem.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Just extra points for me farming. Gib.
Like, Nightmare Moon worth 4 points. That is kind of...
That's almost hitting a third of your point requirements in one card. That's so stupid.
And all those pair sprites going from 1 to 2 as well. It's just ridiculous.
Gross.
I want to point out that we still haven't really had a single problem with Trixie on it. Still, like, there's only one problem infiltrating the hive there. She's hiding behind the stone. And this one has Trixie.
Screeching at a bear.
Good point, yeah. But yeah, this was the problem really, that when I was looking through this, so I was like, oh, I guess purple really is the farming color. It's like, huh.
Yeah. It also makes sense if Troublemakers weren't epic, but they were... like, only you could defeat them. Like, you play them to defeat yourself. So I think them being epic sounds way more interesting. With all the rewards thing.
Well,
yeah, I think it's our last one.
That is the whole set.
So it's Rapidy Dap time? I don't know why I said that. That was terrible.
Well, it's been 2 hours. This is that was very much a set review light. So it's not exactly surprising that we're a little bit out of the loop here. But yeah, that was the beta set. That was what the game was looking like. Oh, what do I want to say here? Like 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it started. Maybe a little bit more.
It was interesting to look at.
Yeah. Very strange.
But in any event, since we do have a date for the new set, that means that at some point in the future, probably after the Continentals tournament, when we have our final deck list from Sequestria, we'll be having our sort of Sequestria wrap-up stream where we go back to the predictions that we made when it first came out and see how correct we were. And then besides that, we're going to have probably a few streams through October that are just talking about spoilers. So certainly, as I kind of said on Reddit or on Discord or whenever it happened, when a new set gets released, that just means that we at least have stream content to work with for the next couple of months, which is a welcome thing to have. But yeah, I think that about covers us for this week.
Yep.
So yeah, if again, as usual, if you have any wanted to be here but couldn't, we're gonna have the stream up on YouTube probably later this afternoon. Otherwise, I've been Cursed Chords.
I've been solving problems.
And Heathrock.
And we'll see you in a fortnight.
Bye.
Bye.